I got this clicked on like new inventory, a new listing, sorry.
Okay.
So this is for Milton specifically. I guess I can always add Burlington as well, just to kind of, I had all of Halton up. But if I look at Milton just as an example here, right? So March had oh, that's cool. Okay, so March had 223 new listings. Burlington had 597 new listings. If I compare that to like a year ago, where's my March? March had, you know, wow, for about 100 each, right? 100 less listings this time last year. March again, going back to 2019, 100 less listings.
It's interesting that you also at the top of that, you see all ITSO, right? So they're trying to show every board. That's all of Ontario, correct?
I suppose any of the boards that are doing data share with like ITSO, right? Any of those relevant. So yeah,
would there be duplicates amongst them then?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think you might just get the TREB duplication.
Right, between, that makes sense. So basically cut that number in half is what you're saying. Or
well, like, I don't know about that. In all fairness, like the number of times, like, I don't, do you have a TREB membership?
I do.
So when you're doing it, like, I don't know, I'm always like, if I'm looking for data in Milton or new listings in Milton, I almost always go on TREB first, because there is a fair amount of stuff like that you would miss. But I also find that when I do, the door swings the other way too, right? Because if I do, if I just go on to TREB, then I'm missing out the OMDREB data. So as you know, OMDREB will come up and show like TW, right? And so when I'm looking at stuff, I'll go through that. When I'm looking at data specifically, just to your point about duplication, I'll go through that, and then I'll scroll through and look for all the ones that are duplicates and take off the TREB listings.
I was joking about this yesterday, where the best place to sometimes look for real estate is go to realtor.ca.
Yeah.
Because then, you're going to see all the properties that are like in Toronto can list homes in Burlington, and they don't have to share it with the Burlington board.
I know.
So I could go look on the Burlington board for homes in Burlington, and they won't be on TREB. And I can go to the Toronto Real Estate Board and look for homes in Burlington, and there'll be different homes. So it's not fair to the consumer.
Well, it's not fair to the consumer. It's not fair to the realtors.
Well, we look bad. We look bad. It's not fair to anybody.
It's an embarrassment to our industry, in my opinion, that consumers right now have more access to data and or much easier access to data than we do. Right? There's third-party apps out there now that I actually use.
Yeah, me too.
On a regular basis to get quick and easy data to that point exactly, because these stupid boards are sitting there arguing over who gets what listing and who gets what data. Also, they can fluff their peacock feathers and collect their fees, right? Their membership fees. I'm in full support of just an open board across.
Couldn't agree more. One board, one MLS, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, clients of mine that have shown me apps for
the
properties that they're looking at, and that's how I've gotten access to some of these apps, because people like you and I pride ourselves on doing our best for our clients. And how stupid do we look when we can't get the same access that other people have, right?
Yeah, or as quickly as easily, right? I mean, because some of those
properties you speak of.
Some of those apps, I guess it depends on how quickly the boards will share the data, but sometimes it can be as recent as 5 minutes or like maybe half an hour or an hour.
Yeah.
Right. So it's relevant data. And if they're been like, hey, what about this one? Well, hang on a second. Let me just log into my cumbersome board. Oh, hang on a second. I need to get the scrolling token first. I have to go over here, and then I have to go over here to go and find it. And like, oh, actually, I got the data right here on my app. Oh, interesting that this third party app can go and pull all that data before I can actually go in there and log in on all my stuff.
I talked to CREA about this, representative from CREA.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the Toronto Real Estate Board only updates their listings 3 times a day onto realtor.ca.
Right.
So there are a lot of, like, our board, the Ortis Regional, whatever you want to call it, Matrix. We could probably Oakville Milton District Real Estate Board and all those other names
Yeah.
that have changed over the years. They update theirs. I think it's something like every hour or so. It's much more
frequent. Yeah, I did know that everyone else is much more frequent than Treb. But yeah, listen, Treb is like I don't know, it's like this archaic old boys club kind of mentality, right? It really is.
Commercial real estate.
Well, I mean, listen, I mean, if that's what they want to do, if they want to like try to protect it that way, and I get it, like there's maybe an argument to say, okay, we're trying to protect our members. But from where I'm sitting, I don't see how that ship sailed a long time ago, right? And I honestly and truly believe it has less to do with actually protecting their members or trying to protect the public as it has to do with keeping the power, right, and keeping the influence and keeping the membership fees coming in.
Games within our game, they need to be eliminated or at least minimalized, because at the end of the day, it's not fair to the public. Right. There's people that are looking for specific homes and they come and go, and it's not on a fair playing field. Then it always comes back on us as the realtors. But when we don't have control over that, then it's not fair to anybody.
Yeah. And the argument can be made about like that anti-competition or that anti-competition act and all that kind of stuff, to say like, to be able to have the data and all that kind of stuff. And the fear, I think, was that, realtors would be irrelevant, right? And that's just not going to be the case. Professional, full-time realtors that are knowledgeable and experienced in the industry will never become irrelevant, right? The public can have access to all the data, but the thing is that you'll get data overload. And then you say, okay, how do I interpret this data? At the end of the day, they can have all the data they want, but unless they got boots on the ground and having conversations with multiple people a day and being inside of houses every day, writing offers, having conversations with other realtors, all that, like that minute by minute experience, the data is going to be, it's helpful. Don't get me wrong. It's helpful. It will steer them in the right direction, but they're still going to need someone that's going to be able to navigate the real estate sale and educate them on like trends, et cetera, that's happening and what they're seeing on a real-time basis. Right.
I couldn't agree more with what you said. A big part of our job is to be there as to help people with the experience, to educate them on the process. We've gone through it. It's our experience and the way in which we help them make these decisions, right? We're their advisors. We're there to support them because we've seen them more